we're moving on to the main topic of the episode itself. So we have Last of Us season 2 coming up around the corner. My concerns about the whole entire season is that are they going to really change anything of like not really what the story is, but how to execute the story? Because that's my big issue about Last of Us Part 2, the video game, is that the execution of it wasn't very good. And rewatching even I've seen a little bit of the same issues I've had in rewatching The Last of Us season 1, is that a lot, which I've been actually kind of liking less on that rewatch.
Yes. Why?
Uh it's just a lot of the story with between Ellie and Joel. Ellie's just less likable in the show than the game.
Just really impressive because I feel like in the game you either love her or you hate her. There's no in
I
between.
love her in the game, but in the show she's constantly cursing for no reason. And she's so annoying and she just it, and in the first season, there's no zombies. It's just walk, talk, and the world doesn't feel that like in danger. It's like, why is there apocalypse going on? It seems like you guys are doing pretty well on your own, just walking around in this world and not being attacked by any zombies or anything like that. So, that's kind of my big issue with season 1. So hopefully in season 2 they improve that from the show side, but from the game side, there's a lot of executions that I've had. But this article from Variety, which he has a talk from with Neil Druckmann. I'm trying to find the exact quote from him, but where it
Here,
said,
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up.
uh,
Honestly, we could technically do
we
a
can
few.
we can
Together.
probably paraphrase it, or unless you want to read the whole entire thing, you can read the whole thing.
It's not letting me because it's allow ads. Okay, great. No, I don't want to allow ads. Go away. No, bad. It won't let
Bad
me load the article,
bad
everybody.
ads, bad
It's
ads.
not letting me
Hold
not
on,
load ads.
hold on,
No
hold on.
wonder, no wonder Warner Bros. Is doing bad. It's because I'm blocking all the ads. Just kidding.
You can here. I'll share my screen with you on here real quick.
Well, it
Uh,
worked earlier. I just don't know how to get it to not block me from not doing ads.
I got it for you right here.
Oh, he's screen sharing. You're gonna get blocked.
I'm gonna get blocked.
You want to see something cool? Electric State. No, I'm just kidding. Um, let's see. Ooh, see, The Last of Us, I think, does a really good job with the what infected. I don't
Yeah.
know what they're called. That I'm telling you, I was impressed.
Well,
So
no, like the costumes and everything for the show was great. Like, but they don't utilize them at all. That's my problem. So, but yeah, if you want to, you read, I'll follow along, and next I'll scroll down along with you, and we can break it piece by piece.
let's see. Uh,
Start from
this was from Variety.
yeah.
Let's see, Variety. What's up?
Well, I have it pulled up right here in front of you.
Well, I know, but I was still trying to zoom in because it's not letting me zoom in.
Oh, well, maybe
Da-da-da-da-da.
maybe this helps. Does that help?
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Everybody, go everybody. I was trying to pull it up on my end, but um, him zooming in helped me a lot. Um, here's a few things. So Druckmann was the lead architect, right?
yeah.
Chernobyl. So Chernobyl, I heard really good stuff about. I didn't watch it
Hmm.
personally. Um, and then I think the other thing that's really interesting in terms of this whole thing is that one, like I said, you have to remember you have to take what I'm saying very, very lightly because I haven't played the game and I also haven't watched most of the show. But I have found that in particular that they have stayed pretty close to the source material, at least in how the characters act. And I
Yes.
think that for me is one of the most integral, important things. If you're gonna take,
Well, they do that pretty well with every other character besides Ellie. Ellie in the game, Ellie has this life of wanderness and like enjoyness to her, but in the show, she is so kind of like not she would not be fun to hang out with. And like if you pulled Ellie from the show into real life, she would not be a fun person to hang out with because she just doesn't seem like that energetic person like she was in the game. But here's the thing. I think the reason why they did that is because Ellie in the second game is much more brutal and dark in the first in that second game than comparable in the first game. And so I think the reason why they did that because there was a lot of complaints in the second about the second game how they're two different how they're two different Ellies and how they don't really feel similar at all and you don't really see the change of how they got to how this young Ellie turned into this brutal and mean and dark person. And so I think that's the reason why they have some of this viciousness that they have in the first season. So then it makes more sense in the second season. But the thing is, you're making it even less good in the first season to just make it to so
So
then it makes more sense in the second season though. It's like
so
why
here's
not
the thing.
fix the second.
Eh, why do that at all? I mean, isn't there some time that's passed in between the first and second season of the game? Like she gets older
Well,
dramatically.
yeah, but Bella Ramsey doesn't look like 4 years apart from
Sure.
so
But I mean, here's the interesting thing. People are expecting, we know that there's a shift in time.
yeah.
You think that 4 years in a post-apocalyptic world
I don't
wouldn't
think
change you?
no, I don't think that's the issue. I think that we don't get to see that change. I think that's the issue. I think that we don't spend enough time to re relive the Ellie from the first game to build up to her change in the second game.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
they should have built up to her being like, this brute, like, because the second game is all about perspective and like, revenge is wrong. And it's like, okay, yeah, we get that. But the execution it wasn't good. And so it makes all the characters more of the original characters less likable. And so they're just in general in the second game, she was just people saw her less likable. And that's how I view her in the first season of this because look, they're trying to make her more like in the second game. So then they have that connection, which I find very strange to be the case. So
So, okay. There's a few things that I really struggle with in terms of TV shows that kind of take on the moniker of we're gonna change a character. Like I understand the desire of trying to bridge the two together,
mhm.
but I think part of it, what would be better is rather than change the character in the first season, you keep the same arc from first to second, where she
Yeah.
gets harsh and colder, but then maybe do a few
It's
flashbacks of things that happen. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather add like 3 or 4 flashbacks for things to make sense
Well,
than it.
there is flashbacks in the game, but the flashbacks kind of break up the pacing of the game. So that's the thing about the second game.
Yeah,
The second game has really, really bad pacing. And so
see,
uh
that's unfortunate. That's just
but yeah, like if let's read this because though it goes into what I am hinting at. So if we won't read this, we'll get into a little bit more of the discussion. Um if you want to read it. You're a better reader than I am, so
what portion? I'm sorry. One
You
second.
just read this first two paragraphs, and next I'll scroll down.
Okay, so on July 3rd, 2019, this is from Variety, by the way, we're giving him credit for it. Neil Druckmann first said those fateful words to Craig Mazin inside the Santa Monica offices of Naughty Dog, the developer behind the blockbuster 2013 video game The Last of Us. As the game's writer and creative director, Druckmann was the lead architect of the astonishing story of grief and trauma amid a zombie apocalypse. Mazin, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, whose gripping limited series Chernobyl had just concluded on HBO, revered the game and had come to Naughty Dog to persuade Druckmann to adapt it for television with him. But when Druckmann picked up a PlayStation controller during the first meeting, it wasn't so he and Mazin could discuss one of the game's fight sequences involving marauding hordes of infected, nor was it to watch one of the many poignant features of the two protagonists, Joel, a hard-hearted smuggler, and Ellie, a headstrong teenager immune to the fungal pandemic. that's decimated the planet. Instead, Druckmann in the display of immediate trust showed Maz in a scene between Joel and Ellie from the game's top secret sequel, The Last of Us Part 2, nearly a year before it would have been available to the public.
Yeah.
Next.
So that's very interesting in itself of like they are playing the game before even the second game is even out, which is very
So,
interesting.
as it turned out, Druckmann didn't even need convincing about it. Doing a show within a week, they were pitching the first season of The Last of Us to HBO. Their easy report is apparent even as Mazen and Druckmann sit in one of Naughty Dog's austere conference rooms, part of what Mazen affectionately calls this concrete palace, to discuss the show's second season ahead of their SXSW, I think it's South by Southwest panel with the cast. Season 2 premieres April 13th. Mazen brags that he got to play part 2 himself as they wrote season 1. It was awesome. One of countless examples of the bond that they cultivated in those early months. So basically, what I'm reading is Guy didn't even want to talk about it. He just went straight to showing him what was going to happen in season 2,
Hmm.
which automatically caught the eyes of him. And within a week, which is pretty fast for a show, they're over
Yeah.
there storyboarding and saying, hey, this is what we want to make. Now, mind you, it would have been easy. You would have to fill in like the script filler words because obviously most of the game stuff is gameplay with like
Yeah.
cutscenes between.
That's the kind of the problem with adapting a game. You have to fill that gameplay stuff with something in a show. But in the show they filled a lot of the gameplay stuff with dialogue, and so there's a lot of parts in the show that just felt boring and overdone of dialogue and just very dialogue heavy and skipping a lot of fun things that they could have had of also doing like for example, there's a section that involves early on in the game where you as Joel and Ellie and a character named Tess, where you go into a building at the night after escaping this military group and you have to hide from affected. You can have your dialogue and also have a fun sequence too. And so you're not just you so you're not just moving the story along, you're also giving a fun experience in intense situations. So if you're just like for example, let's say if we're making a movie and it's just me, you and talk, me and you walking and talking, what does and that's the majority of the movie. And it's like what okay, after a while that gets boring. And it's like you want to break that up. You can still have the conversation, but you need to break up the scene and the pacing a tiny bit with it. So um but
Well, and
so
here's the thing. I don't have any more comments specifically on this one, but for the next two topics, can I kind of lead from this into those two and I'll explain why they kind of combine together? Or
uh yeah, we can. I
I
was
want to
thinking
explain, I have a method to my madness, if that makes sense.
yeah, I mean uh who's both she and her. Oh, this is talking about Bella Ramsey's pronouns. Okay, we're moving away from that. Yeah, no, because this article breaks itself apart in the topics that I did, and I did that on purpose, by the way. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Which is why I said there's a method to my madness. So
So we're going to talk about. So let us know your guys' thoughts on. Well, actually, I want to mention the whole point of that tie of the whole.
do it.
Uh,
I think it'll make sense, and then I'll explain where my
yeah.
method comes
So
in.
before we move into, I guess, the next topic, I want to talk about the overall point of that article is that they're planning on telling, which that's why I was wanting to share in the first place, but are planning on telling the story very differently, but it still has the same air. Let me actually just pull up the quote then real quick, actually, because he does talk about it. Um,
Wait, not the quote that he was demonstrating. He showed him, because I think that's kind of a boss move to be like, hey, we're just going to show you top secret gameplay,
well,
and
yeah, that's kind of funny. But
uh, it's not even funny. That's just cool. I
yeah.
mean, that's a baller move.
But
So
I want to talk
do
about
it.
how it's going to be different. But so the story isn't going to so season two and season three essentially because the game's going to be breaking up into two different seasons. Um, it's going to be different, but it's going to still have the same DNA. That's the word that he uses It's going to still have the same DNA as the game. So meaning they are going to go and change things like how they changed things in the first season. Like for example, Bill and I forget why am I blanking his partner's name, Bill and Frank, Bill and Frank's story. Like how Bill in the game, Bill's still alive, but Frank is no longer, trying to be very vague, but he's no longer part of the story at that point. But in the show, they changed how their interactions are. And in which that episode I felt very pointless. I like the episode by itself, but it doesn't really add to anything to the overall story. But so there's going to be changes like that coming to season two. So meaning I still think what's going to happen is going to happen. Like the big controversy, trying to stay vague, controversy is going to happen, but the way that they approach it might happen differently, which I hope that's the case then. And I hope that's what they do. And so that's kind of like the overarching of that whole entire article. What do you
Well, and this kind of leads into my, can I mention the other two topics so I can string them together?
yeah, so we'll keep it us all in one. We'll just keep it all in one
Okay.
video.
Well, we're basically going to talk about the second official trailer,
Yeah.
which I don't know anything like I said about the franchise, and I actually was very hyped by the trailer. I thought it looks really good. And my favorite thing was that there's a huge spoiler that we're not going to talk about, and nobody mentions it in the
It,
trailer.
wait, in the trailer?
No,
There's a
no, no,
spoiler?
no, 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 no. There's a huge spoiler in the upcoming
Oh,
season, and the community
they keep it
itself,
vague and
yeah, I love it. Oh, respect to the Last of Us people and the people that.
well, actually, well, I've read some comments and they make some nods to it actually.
Okay, well, don't read the comments if you haven't played the
But
video game.
but in the trailer explain they don't say out why this is happening. But
Yes, for
yeah,
sure. But we'll see it.
yeah.
All I'm saying is one character is about to be very hated. Just kidding. Okay.
Well,
So
I know, by the way, about this trailer, I really like this trailer. This is actually a really good trailer. And I believe it's actually the most HBO watched trailer.
it probably is. It has
Um,
25 million views in 2 weeks.
yeah,
And the scene where like all the infected are running at the wall, sweet.
yeah. And which is weird as also is that I think there was a mention in that article is that there's going to be more infected, which great because I hated how there was not enough infected in the first season. But I also saw something where they're going to bring back spores, which I find very odd because the reason why they didn't have spores in the first season because it wouldn't work because it just wouldn't work with in the real world. It would we would be all screwed if there were spores. But
Well,
now they're bringing it back.
I think they're immune, aren't they, to the fungi or the
No,
fungi?
just Ellie. Ellie's the only one that's immune.
Oh,
And
I
so,
I didn't play the game or
well,
watch the season. So,
how dare you?
well,
Um,
everybody, I was too busy
well,
watching.
now what you need to do is watch the first season, and next when season two is done, you can do that for your review.
Oh,
Ah, yeah, see, you're not gonna watch it now. Uh,
I'll consider it. I
well,
would. I've heard good things about it, but no,
so
the trailer was great.
yeah,
The cinematography was great. The infected looked great. It reminded me of World War Z at some point. It's gonna be honest.
yeah. Well, at least that with that initial shot of like all the infected running up to Jackson,
Yes.
like,
Oh,
oh,
so good.
I hope that's not just I hope that's not the only scene of infected in the whole entire show, the whole
Yeah,
entire season. If it is, I'm gonna be so upset. Like, gosh,
because they showed it in the trailer.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just like that's like here's all the affected, and next what will happen? They cut away and they're all dead afterwards. Like they show the fight, they don't even show the fight, and it's like what the at that.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if that happens, I will come and strangle you, Neil.
Don't
Like
strangle Neil, because that also leads to the next topic, and I'll explain how all these connect. So I want to talk about them cohesively because I really think it's important. So the first topic obviously talked about telling a different version of the story. Why it's important to build the character of Ellie, right? The second story, or the second one, is the official trailer that came out about 2 weeks ago, which was pretty sweet. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the franchise, and by that I mean it's not that I don't like it, it's just I'm not as familiar. I thought it was epic. Now, Neil Druckmann says don't bet on there being a third part of The Last of Us or a part three. Now, let me explain.
I don't think that's true. But a lot of people are coming out and saying like, "Oh, Last of Us Part 3 is canceled." It's like he never confirmed it. What are you
No,
talking
he
about?
just said I
Yeah,
wouldn't bet on it. But here's
well,
the thing.
he also like what people go back to that documentary, which we've talked about in the past, the Ground documentary,
Yes,
about the making of Last of Us Part 2, and they say like, they mentioned the quote of like, "There's a concept of Last of Us Part 3,"
sure.
and people are like, and people took that as like a confirm for The Last of Us Part 3. And it's like there was never a confirmation. So anyone
So,
that's saying there's Last of Us 3 canceled, there was never, you can't cancel something that was never confirmed, for one. And
well,
he's never saying that that will never happen. Also, he has another game coming out right now. He has to worry about Last of Us Season 2, and he has another game coming out. And why would he be focusing on Last of Us Part 3 when he has two other things to prioritize first?
well, and here's the
So
thing. This is kind of the point that I was kind of overarchingly getting to. This guy, excuse me, I'm so sorry, everybody. This guy obviously very much cares about excellence. He
yeah.
has created two excellent games. This guy isn't going to you know, half do it. And so, with that
Well,
context in mind, with how the shows have been received, etc., it it makes sense. They thoughtfully crafted a season one that maybe explained a little bit more of a character arc for season two. They thoughtfully created an excellent trailer where I know nothing about it. Myself and two of my other friends who have never played these games were like, actually, that looks pretty good. They thoughtfully crafted a trailer that made people want to watch it that know nothing about the franchise. And then on top of it, this guy could have easily made a crap Last of Us, part three, which could have very well sucked if he just rushed it just to make money. And he's not doing it. That right there, in an essence of why these three topics go together, it's a consistent pattern of excellent entertainment value making that leads to a really great overarching product. It does. And this is where I think that Disney needs to be like, let's take some notes. Stop making crap and focus on quality. I'd rather have one amazing movie once a year than have 20 crap shows that nobody like. I got to the point where I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I didn't even watch that show. I have a friend who absolutely loves Marvel. Like, dude has thousands of comics and figures and things. Dude hasn't even seen all the Marvel movies and TV shows past Endgame because he's like, why do I want to watch them? Like, they're not that good. You know how desensitized you have to be when you're that big of a Marvel fan to go see that?
well, like, and what like I said before, the man is prioritizing things of in the moment and not worrying about the future. And so like, and that's the reason, like that's the reason why I don't like I don't it could be true that he doesn't, maybe Last of Us Part 2 is a good ending point to him. I don't think so. I don't think that's a good ending point. I think there is another story to tell, one more story. But
But here's the thing,
you
why
can't
not
you
wait?
yeah, like I mean, like like we're not going to get it for a while anyways. We have another game coming out right now from Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog was the company used to that is the was the one that is well known for crunch, who like, and they don't, and they're not that company anymore. They're just simply not. And that's why it's been 4 years since we've heard anything from them, and now we're starting to get stuff from them.
What do you think about this? What if Neil were to write the story, not develop the game, but write the third part, wait 10 years, and then release it? Because hear me out. Think about this is a little bit different, but it's kind of same thought process.
Well, it's
Think
it's probably going to be 10 years before we
think
get
about
Last.
Avatar 2, okay? The first one, revolutionary, billions of dollars, whatever.
Not very good.
Okay, I'm not saying it's good or bad. they increased the hype where what, 10, 15 years later, whatever it was, crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Avatar 2. Oh my goodness.
And
I
3 and
directed
4 and
it.
5.
Yeah, okay, that's where I'm heading.
Yes.
When you create this idea of like, oh, it's exclusive to now come out this time, or its timing is this is where things like, no offense, Jurassic Park, Fast and Furious, all these fall short is because it's like, ugh, another dinosaur movie? Ugh, another family movie? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It, there's only one franchise where I'm like, oh, I'll go see all of those movies. Um, can you guess what it is?
Marvel.
No.
Oh.
Mission Impossible.
Oh. Well. Well, Marvel releases a new movie every year.
Yeah, but I don't, honestly, I have not made it that much of an effort to go see him, honestly.
Uh,
So,
that's fair. Mission Impossible. It's either like it's every 2 to 3 years we get a Mission Impossible movie.
but I mean, that's a very good release schedule. Some would say that's
Yeah.
too much, but they've all, like I said, past Mission Impossible 3, I feel like they've all gotten even better
E-
than the last one for the
Yeah,
most part.
I honestly don't really remember anything past Rogue Nation. Or no, it's
Or,
what's four? What was that one called?
um,
I forget what the Ghost
it's not,
Protocol.
it's
Ghost,
Ghost Protocol,
yeah, Rogue
Rogue,
Nation,
Dead.
Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and next the Final Reckoning.
Yeah,
Anything past Ghost Protocol, I don't really remember very well. And that
I
doesn't
like.
mean they're bad. Well, besides Mission Impossible 2. But the like Mission Impossible 3, I remember liking. I actually don't remember much from Mission Impossible 1. I actually just bought it recently on 4K. But
Wait,
so the
people
first one.
buy physical media still?
Oh, ha ha ha, funny, ha ha, funny. But so, yeah, I don't like. I think eventually we'll get Last of Us Part 3, especially if Sony comes down on them like, "Hey, you're gonna make a third game," because it's still a Sony company.
You
Like
you know you
Sony
know
will be
Sony will not be able to resist. It'll be
yeah.
money, money,
If you
money.
hand Neil Druckmann a lot of money, he'll be like, "All right, yeah, we'll do it." But doesn't mean he will doesn't mean he'll do it lazily.
Well,
So
no, I don't think he's gonna be. He's not. That's not his thing. So
no, you might not like his story directions. That's just all opinions. But when he puts out a game, it looks damn good. And so
I agree.
I think we'll get Last of Us Part 3, but people need to stop saying Last of Us Part 3 canceled. Neil Druckmann lied to us. He never confirmed Last of Us Part 3, guys. Stop this. Stop this idiotic nonsense of like trying to create controversies for the sake of controversies. You can't cancel something that isn't canceled. It's like there was something similar. I can't remember what it was, but people got upset about it being like I don't know. It's the same argument of like, hey, why would you not release something and and just throw it on the shelf because you say it's bad. And it's like, well, why would they want to release something bad?
You would.
It's the same argument. It's
It's
dumb.
dumb to think that.
So
So
let us know your guys' thoughts on the whole entire Last of Us topic itself. Let us know what you guys think, what they mean by a different version of the story. It doesn't mean it's going to be a completely different story. It's just going to probably be told differently, which I hopefully the case then they just tell they because one thing that they need to reveal right off the bat is the setup for the whole entire game. If they keep the reason why a certain character does a certain thing, and I'm talking about Abby's character, I'm talking about the character Abby. If they keep her reasoning very vague, you're going to have the same issue um like the game did. You have to come out straight off the right of the bat explaining the whole setup to the season with her character um again trying to be very vague saying something that she is devastated by.
yep.
So like you have to
It's gonna
have
be good.
yeah, I hope they pull off the story well because I always thought Last of Us season 2 Last of Us 2 would always be better told um as a show or a movie. And so there's that. And next, of course, you got let us know your guys' thoughts of the trailer. Does the trailer make you more excited for the show? And next, of course, the thoughts of don't bet on The Last of Us Part 3. Do you think we will never get a Last of Us Part 3, or is this not at the moment?
Or better yet, will we get 4, 5, 6? Do you think it's going to turn into a crazy franchise?
Uh,
Even greater.
or you think we will get Last of Us Part 1 remastered? They just remastered the
On a
remake.
DVD? I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
And next we get Last of Us Part 2 remake.
I hope not. I hate when they do remakes.
I think they should just go back to I think they should do Uncharted again. I think they should do another Uncharted. I like yeah.
I thought it was entertaining. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Holland again. Is he taking a break or is he coming back?
Oh, I was talking about the games. I like the
Oh,
Uncharted game. The movie is fine. But I know but Uncharted 2 is confirmed to happen, by the way, guys. Just let you know. So let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below.
Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see the full-on podcast, I'll leave a link in the description below. And you guys can also check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. And if you guys want to, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the topics as well. So leave a comment on it. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button because we have a lot of other stuff on the channel. As a reminder, this is a monthly upload on the Big Talk with Austin. And this will also give you guys the opportunity to submit some topics to us that happen throughout the month. So if you guys want to do that, go check me on Twitter and follow me there. Tag me whenever something interesting pops up that is movie reviews, movie TV shows, any like pop culture related type of stuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.